I can hear you, but I can't see you.
It's on, ma'am. Video is on.
Okay. Chalo. How are you? I'm so happy to have you here again. And I want to tell all my students that Aarti ma'am is one of the faculties who joined in the beginning when we started MSc Human Development. So she worked with us in the for a few months, and it was wonderful when she was there with us. Very lively, very nice, very amicable, very good. Okay, so I would tell all of you to please try to get whatever knowledge that you can take from her, because now for the past so many years she's working in the field of early childhood. So you should all ask a lot of questions to her. Yes, Aarti. So nice to see you.
Yeah, same here, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, ma'am.
Anytime, yeah, for you, anytime. I'll keep troubling you again and again.
Yeah, it's okay, ma'am, for sure. Most welcome.
Okay. So shall we start the formal thing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, chalo. So over to Shreya.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Shrishti, you can start.
Ma'am. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today, we have with us an eminent person and entrepreneur in early childhood education, Dr.Arati S. Jakkarradi. She is an early childhood education entrepreneur, certified DMIT counselor, parenting, and career counselor. Dr. Arati is a proprietor of Bright Minds Preschool, Dharwad. She's lifespan counselor, which includes DMIT testing and counseling, study habit guidance, personality and relationship counselor, and career guidance. She received a doctoral degree in human development and family studies from University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharwad, Karnataka. She's served as an assistant professor in the Department of Human Development and Family Studies, College of Community Science under University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharwad. She also served as a lecturer at Mount Carmel College in the year 2012. She also worked as a content reviewer for the 6 months in the Department of Human Development and Family Studies, University of Agricultural Sciences, Dharwad. Apart from this, she also has various other experiences, and to name some, she has completed certification of the dermatoglyphics multiple intelligence tests. She has presented various number of scientific papers across the nation in various conferences. She also has specific scientific papers published in various journals like Indian Journal of Positive Psychology, International Journal of Current Microbiology, Journal of Research in Social Sciences, etc. She also presented and attended many seminars across the nation. I would like to greet a warm welcome to Dr. Arati for this webinar. I hope you have a good time with us. Thank you, ma'am, and over to you. Arati, ma'am?
Ma'am, are you there? Aarti, ma'am?
I can't see her in the participant list, ma'am.
Okay, 1 second. Let me check with ma'am. Ma'am, are you there? Aarti ma'am? Ma'am, we can see you in the list, but I don't think we are able to hear you in case you're saying something. Anybody else who's able to hear, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, we are able to hear you now, but I think it can be a little louder, ma'am.
It can be a little louder.
Yeah, this is fine,
Yes.
ma'am. Still fine.
Yeah, this is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Shall we
Ma'am,
start?
you can. Yes, ma'am. You can start. Ma'am, we can start. Ma'am, again, I think there's some problem with the audio. We're not able to hear you.
Okay. I'm just checking. I'm having a little bit of connectivity problem over here.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now is it fine?
Yeah, it is fine, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So shall we start for today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity here. Can you see the video?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one of a student, Rohini, she'll be running the PPT for you. So you can just directly instruct her, ma'am. She'll just follow. Girls will be starting in a minute or so. I think ma'am is having some connectivity issues, so she's trying to rejoin through her laptop. Okay, so we can just wait patiently now. Sneka, I think you're running the PPT, right, for ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. You be ready, okay?
Yes. Ma'am, my screen is already. I'm already sharing my screen. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, let's start it quickly because it's already been time. Uh, Let me give a small introduction. Can you see my video? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Sneka is sharing the PPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can see you, ma'am. We can see you.
Okay. To begin with, the topic is like starting an early childhood education center, basically called as a preschool or a kindergarten. Yes. So basically, what we need to concentrate upon is why do you need to start an early childhood education center as an entrepreneurship? Now, actually, in today's world, this field, especially learning and education sector for preschool children, is a booming business. Why? Because we have lots of gains, and also it's a evergreen industry because education never stops, and so we can expect more of profits, but it is also associated with its own pros and cons, the education sector. Now we can have so many preschools, n number of preschools coming up in every nook and corner of the city, but we can't say that each of the preschool will be a successful industry or will be a successful institute. And again, it all depends upon the criteria that the entrepreneur sets up, and also the funding as well as the quality that is maintained for the learning process that is involved in the children's education. There are basically a few points which we need to concentrate upon, like it may range from a business plan. Business plan might include various modes of daycare situations, like it may be a daycare, a preschool, play school, or after school activities, or whatever it is, and how many teaching or staff you're going to take in, supporting staff that is needed to hire, the funds required for renting, leasing, etc. And also you need to finalize the location, the space, the infrastructure, etc. Indoor and outdoor facilities. As early childhood education students, I believe all of them are education ECE students. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
I believe that. Yes. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah. All the students are from ECE background. Okay. Since these are some of the basic details of an ECE plan that is required, I'll just quickly move on to finding some of the aspects that need to be considered as a serious things. Finding a location for your preschool, developing a preschool curriculum, or going with a franchisee model. If you're going with a franchisee model, then you need to analyze which of the models that you are considering. And you have to inquire for different models that are available as a franchisee, like maybe from Montessori, Reggio Emilio, Waldorf, or High Scope, or whichever you need to have it. And investing in a preschool software. What is a preschool software? A preschool software is nothing but it has all the details, including from administration until the child's details, the parents' details, your activities, how you're going about the activities. And also the preschool software gives you a connectivity, like you have to maintain a connection between the child's learning process and the parents' communication. This is required, and it's considered nowadays, it is considered as more important of having a preschool software. And most important also is the marketing, seeking the applicants. Where is your client base? Like when you're choosing a location, you have to look into the standard of living that is prevailing in that current location. Like for example, if you are choosing a location to make a or set up a preschool over in that in that location, you need to find out, or you need to make a survey how many children are available in that age group. Or another survey point would be like, what is the standard of living? Why we consider the standard of living of the parents is, you need to find out whether the fee structure that you are planning to take in, that would be catered to or not. Like for example, if you set up a high fee structure for middle class people, the location which is having basically the non-creamy layer of the parents, then your fee structure will be a mismatch for that particular location. This is why we need to make a market survey. Next would be some of the general aspects that has to be considered. First and foremost is the permission. Do we require a permission? Do we require a licensing or registration fees? No. To start a preschool, to start a daycare, there is no such central law in India. But all the state governments have made it mandatory to give a registration. Means your preschool, your daycare, or your early childhood education center needs to be a registered body. This is mandatory. And some other states like Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, they are going with private school education acts, and I'm also going with the same act as well. Next would be like service tax applicability for schools. As a working entrepreneur, you might think of these aspects. This is most important because you'll be generating income, you'll be having expenditure, you'll be having funding, you'll be having loaning, financial assistance, etc. For all these things, you need to maintain a records, right? The financial records that has to be maintained for income and outflow of the fundings. But in preschool sector, there is no tax applicability as such. Why? Because the school, the education sector, especially the pre-primary education, it has been included in the negative list for service tax applicability. What do you mean by a negative list? Negative list is nothing but the education sector or the parts which are exempted from paying the taxes. Which are the negative lists? preschool education sector up to higher secondary school or equivalent. And another is the education as a part of curriculum for obtaining a qualification. These two aspects are exempted from tax acceptability. Next would be like the most important as an early childhood education specialist. You are from the background of this field, right? The child development aspect. You should be catering to these prominent ones. There are 4 aspects. One is the child aspect. Second, the teacher aspect. Third, the school aspect. And the fourth, parent aspect. Child aspect is nothing but you have to see to it that your preschool caters to the proper learning service or the learning process and focus on better learning experiences. Why better learning experiences? All the schools promise the same learning experiences. But what happens in the due course? In the due course, the schools end up in giving a lot of homeworks and also only lots of books. But when we consider the learning process as such, the child is not up to the mark in the learning things. You can just see the child is completing homeworks every day. He's doing the activities. In fact, activities are conducted by the parents only, not the child, and projected as the child's activities. This need not be happening. Learning process is like the child has to involve himself in these things. Once the child involves in these learning processes by himself, that we also call as learning by doing, here the learning actually happens. Also, it caters to the holistic developments of the child. What do you mean by holistic development? It has to cater to all sectors of development: physical, language, emotional, social, moral, etc. Yes, all the developmental sectors have to be catered to in the learning process, and that has to be in your early childhood education center. Also, when we consider of these learning process or learning by doing things, they have to also be age appropriate things. What do you mean by age appropriate? Means according to the age, those activities.
Recording in progress.
We also call it as developmentally appropriate practices. What is the developmentally appropriate practices you need? You might have learned in your curriculum, like the child has to be ready for learning process, then only you can engage the child in the learning activities, also in the preschools. The second aspect would be like the teacher aspect. What do you mean by the teacher aspect? The teacher, she has to be well versed in this particular sector. She has to be an early childhood educator, and she has to plan well in advance the teaching learning materials. Teaching learning materials means the tools or the objects or the materials that you use for the teaching process, the learning process. It might also include the online training support as well. The teacher has to plan the detailed daily lesson plans, and also the lessons plans should be in such detail that it shouldn't be overworking for the teacher. Why overworking? The teacher has to be energetic. She has to feel confident in order to execute that daily lesson plan. And you have to have some of the child observation tools. Why do we need child observation tools? In today's world, it is mandatory that the teacher is well known with these tools in order to have a hold on the child's development. The development may be his social development, cognitive development, emotional development, any of the developments. If the teacher is knowing the child properly, then it will help the teacher in giving a better learning experience for the child. And this lesson plan should have a low preparation time. Why do we consider the low preparation time? If the teacher spends all the time in preparing the lesson plan or the whatever materials that are needed in order to execute the lesson plan, then she won't be much energetic in order to execute actually the lesson plans. So these lesson plans should be of lower preparation time. Also, in the teacher aspect, she has to look into that. She has to be staying connected with the children through the softwares. Earlier that I mentioned, the softwares may be apps or whatever it is, or it can be simply your WhatsApp or your any social platforms. The teacher has to be connected with the child. The third aspect would be like the school aspect. What do we consider the school aspect for? It can be like the school should be ready to execute the curriculum. Curriculum in means like whether you have developed one or you are going with a franchisee model. Either of the curriculum has to be executed in a proper way. You have to generate more admissions. The school aspect. Why school aspect is the school aspect caters to both the teaching faculty as well as non-teaching faculty. This non-teaching faculty is responsible for generating more admissions, thereby generating more revenue. If you're not having more admissions, enough of admissions, then you will be under a loss for giving out the salaries simply without any students to teach for. The next would be like going with a brand name. Anything, A, B, C, D, any brand name you go for. Brand name should not be copied one or a replica of already existing one. Like I usually say that the quality itself has to speak for the school. Yes, so you have to think for a brand name which is unique. It has to show its quality itself in terms of the outcomes that are found in the child's learning process. Last but not the least is the saving the manpower cost. Like for example, if the preschool is running from morning till afternoon, you're hiring the teachers from morning till afternoon on a particular fixed salary basis. What about the other part of the half day? Afternoon till you can consider 4 or 5 o'clock. Do you want to utilize that part of the teacher's salary or the teacher's time left? If yes, then you can engage the teachers in dance activities, arts activities, yoga, music, whatever it is. You have to save the manpower cost. Like here, the teaching process happens in the morning sessions and the extracurricular activities will be happening in the afternoon sessions. Like this, you'll be able to save the manpower cost, as well as these activities help in generating more admissions, thereby generating more revenue. Last aspect would be the parent aspect. Once the parent takes the admissions in your schools, looks about the surroundings, is happy with the outcome that the learning is happening with the child, then the parents will be feeling confident and happy. This is the main important thing of getting a fixed admission for all the 4 years. Why 4 years? We consider play school, nursery, LKG and UKG. These 4 years, the first 4 years of learning as a thing. Once the child takes an admission in the playgroup, if the child and the parent both are confident and happy with your school curriculum, the teaching methods used, the quality of care and learning that is given in your school, then for all the 4 years, that one particular admission is booked. You have to see to it that this happens compulsorily. Otherwise, you will be losing out on one admission for all the 4 years. Yes. Next would be like establishing partnership in child's education through intimate communication with the school. Like as an early childhood educator, you have to be as a proprietorship. I'm talking in terms of proprietor. The teacher is well known with a particular child because teacher is having one-to-one connection with the child on a daily basis. As a proprietor, you might not be having that connection with the child, but you have to have it through the intimate connection, the communication that the school will be having with the parents. This is very mandatory. Yes, so that the parents feel that not only the teachers, but as an entrepreneur, you are also interested in the child's growth and development as well as learning process. Yes. Next would be observing the content learned by their child at the school and interact with them. Like we basically call it as a follow-up. Whatever the child learns in the school, that has to be given a follow-up at the home. Teacher as well as the educator, like the entrepreneur, both have to be engaged in this process so that parents are confident that their child is well catered to. And also, last but not the least, easily monitoring the progress of the child. In early childhood education, we have different modes of monitoring the progress of the child. You might be maintaining the records. Records may be cumulative, periodic, or whatever it is. And also, we have talked about child observation tools. All these things help in monitoring the child's progress in learning as well as the development process. Yes? Any doubts you have until now? Any doubts you have until now? Shreya,
Girls,
ma'am, can you?
doubt? Yeah. Girls, in case you have any doubts, you can please feel free to ask, ma'am.
Until now.
Yeah, until now. Yes.
Yes?
I think it's fine, ma'am. We can continue.
Okay. Next would be like, it's again general aspects considered in just more details. Coming to the naming of your school. Why do you want to name a school in a particular aspect? As earlier I mentioned that you need not copy because it's very illegal or unethical. First thing, while naming your school, what you have to consider is why you are starting a preschool. What is your intention behind starting this preschool, or what is it that you are trying to achieve? This is the main point that has to be considered. Well, if you Google any name that you require for a preschool, you'll get n number of names related to preschools. You can choose among them also. But nowadays you can just, gamble with the words, gamble with the letters and name your unique thing that you feel like. Next, we're defining the budget. This is the most important crust of this planning. Budget, as I mentioned earlier, it will be including everything. Basically classified into the capital investment, working capital, return on investment, and projections for up to 3 to 5 years. Coming to the first one, that is capital investment. How much you want to invest in your entrepreneurship? Do you have the savings to invest? Like in a mega city like Dharwad, I needed basically 5 to 6 lakhs of capital investment, which was only for purchasing a franchisee model. Yes, capital investment, it will include the infrastructure build-up. Yes, infrastructure includes the school building, whether it is rental, a lease, or your owned one. The salary of the staff that you are going to take in, the personnel, marketing procedures, or different marketing procedures have their own costs. Yes. Return on investment. What is the return on investment? Now, currently, if you're investing 5 to 6 lakhs the first year, the beginning year of your entrepreneurship, in how many years or what is the period that is required to gain back that 5 to 6 lakhs without any losses? That you need to calculate properly. This is called as return on investment. Projections for 3 to 5 years. Why do you need to project? Yes, we need to project these investments, expenses, and return on investments in order to have a hold on your financial condition. First year, if you're going to invest 5 lakhs, suppose if you get the full admissions, you'll be able to recover that investment in 1 year only. Otherwise, minimum duration required to get a return on investment would be like 2 to 3 years in early childhood education sector. In any entrepreneurship you can consider. But if you work hard, if you give the quality, then you can minimize that return on investment period to 1.5 to 2 years. This projection is a must and should. You need to have calculated admissions, calculated revenue generation, and calculated investment to have your return on investments in a positive growth curve, not in a negative growth curve. Currently, I am going on a no loss, no profit basis because of the pandemic situation. Coming to the loans. As an entrepreneur, you might be wondering, like, where will I get so much of financial background or so much of financial savings? As an educator, you'll be passing out from your undergraduation or the post-graduation, right? Immediately after post-graduation or undergraduation, you won't be having any source of income if you're not employed currently. But if your parents or if you are willing to generate any income or any investment as a fund from any person or anything, then you can have it. If you are thinking of going for a loan facility, then if you Google it, you will have different modes of loaning facilities and all. There are various schemes or various banks offering different facilities and different loan facilities also. But according to my observation and my experience, there is no loan facility available for education sector, especially the pre-primary sector. So you have to take your capital investment as your own. My personal experience. Otherwise, you can just Google it, or you can just go to the banks, visit them, and check in with the loan facilities that are available for the Early Childhood Education Center. Next would be like coming to the curriculum. Whether you want to develop and use your own curriculum, or you want to go with a franchisee model. Whatever it is, either a developed curriculum or it's a franchisee based model, it has to be a holistic curriculum. Like I said, physical development, personal, social and emotional development, creative development, language and literacy, general awareness, mathematics, everything. All these things has to be catered through this curriculum. Developing a curriculum is something different and using it is something different. Franchisee models, they offer you a ready planned curriculum for which you have to pay. There are various franchisee models, as I said earlier, based on the concepts, based on the methods of teaching, based on the materials used in teaching. But now in the market, there are two types of franchisee models. One is which charges a royalty. One is which doesn't charge any royalty. You have to calculate both pros and cons for each of them, and then you can decide upon which of the curriculum that you are trying to stick on to. Yes. Nowadays, due to NEP, National Education Policy, the government of India is also coming up with different curricular laws, making it mandatory for preschools to have a proper and good curriculum. Our NCERT books are also well equipped with these curriculum methods. Again, it's like next would be like location, good preschool, bringing quality toys, equipments, quality curriculum, and be ethical and carry high moral values, and none of these require major investments. The major investment would be in your main infrastructure development. Yes. Any questions? Any doubts? I hope I've catered to some of the important aspects. Yes? Can you just unmute, ma'am? Shreya, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Girls, do you have any doubts until now?
Ma'am, I have a doubt,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please elaborate more on the licensing part?
Licensing part.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
of course. Licensing
Okay, ma'am.
part, there is no license required as such in Government of India. In India, it's like preschool is like your home-based schooling. Earlier, it was like Gurukul, and now it is more of a practiced manner. A planned curriculum will be there, a planned teachers will be there, teachers will be trained, everything will be there. Licensing as such is not required to start a preschool. Only that you have to be registered. You have to make a registration in BEO's office, that is Block Education Officers. There is an office which is concerned with the education sector. You need to give a registration, that's all. If you are using your own curriculum, you have developed your own curriculum, then you need to make a registration. I haven't made a registration because I am registered with a franchisee model. They are responsible to give a registration for me. Licensing as such is not required.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, anyone else?
Any other questions?
Girls, in any case, you might have not understood the technical terms. You can ask ma'am to, just elaborate on that. Please feel free.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, which is the franchisee your school is having?
I am going with Bright Minds.
Okay. So, ma'am, what is the criteria? I mean, how do you decide like which franchisee or which curriculum would be good for kids?
Yeah. Which curriculum would be good for kids as an early education student? You will be more perfect in that. Yes, I believe it. Do you believe it?
Yes.
Because why I chose this particular franchisee was like, basically I was looking for lesser financial depreciations for me. Like I didn't want to invest more, like initially I wanted to invest less and then wanted to see gradually how it would do well. This is no royalty based franchisee model for me. Royalty in the sense, what does a royalty mean? A royalty is nothing but on particular number of admissions, you are supposed to pay certain amount of fees to that particular franchisee. Like for example, I'm going with the Bright Minds, right? So Bright Minds is not charging me any royalty. Other brands, there are various brands which are charging you royalty for up to 10%, starting from 10% till they are ranging up to 25 or 30%. Like if you charge one admission costs you 25,000, 10% of it, that is 2,500. You have to pay 2,500 to the franchisee. This is how this model works. The royalty model works. The non-royalty model, it doesn't charge you any royalty, but you are supposed to purchase these kits and all on a particular fees. You have to pay the amount and you have to purchase the student kits and you have to use the curriculum. Yes, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Girls, any other questions?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Ma'am, considering the location in mind, which was a key point of yours, that marketing and location plays a very important role. So, while considering a location, what are the key factors that are to be kept in mind?
Okay. While considering the location, my first criteria was like, what would be my financial gains? Like for example, there are different locations in a city. A city is having, based on standard of living of the people, the creamy layer of the people are situated in a particular set of location, particular type of location, and the middle class families, the standard of living, the middle class families, they are having or located in a particular cluster of areas, right? If you want to charge higher fee structure, then you will have to locate the an area where the creamy layer of parents exist. If you're going to charge medium or the middle level of fee structure, we'll have to choose the location where it is this particular area or standard of living people exist. But after considering this, whether there are a sufficient amount of client that is required in that location, you have to make a survey, quick survey of that. We have done a door-to-door survey of these students, like parents who are newly married, or parents who are expecting, or parents who are having preschool children, children between the age range of 3 to 5 years of age. We have done the survey and then we have finalized the location. And also nearby your schools, the location, if you have finalized nearby, maybe around 1.5 or 2 kilometers of area, there has to be no preschool. Then only you will get proper admissions. 2 points. One is within 2 kilometers of range, there has to be no preschool other than yours. Second is the income level of the parents that you're expecting to take admissions into your schools. That has to be higher. These two are the key points in considering the location.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome. Yes.
Yes, girls, anybody else? Ma'am, you still have more slides to be spoken about?
Like some of the pictures.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, who is it?
Yes, you can go on with the question. Okay, meanwhile, we'll just take some time in looking into the further slides. Here I have used some of the interiors of my school, which I have used. The thematic painting. You can see the brand name of the franchisee. This is the office room where presently I'm sitting here. The next would be like thematic painting. One is the forest painting. Second one is the aquatic painting, aquatic theme. The third one is simply the animals painting. You can see these are some of the things, key findings or the key things which consider in taking in admissions. Parents and children get attracted to the way your school looks, whatever the toys or the equipments that you have placed in your school. These are also important. Normally in all the preschools, they do not have so much of thematic painting, so much of conceptual learning. Why I call them a conceptual learning is, like for example, here you can see a forest theme painting. Yes, forest. When you're teaching a forest content to the child, it comes under EVS concepts, or you can call it as environmental science concept. Forest concept, the child looks into it every day, sees it every day. Yes, so this makes learning easier. And also in your lesson plan, you need not include more props or more teaching learning materials in order to deliver this particular conceptual learning, the forest theme conceptual learning. This is how we should plan for the preschool infrastructure, the interiors especially. Next slide would be like, it's an outdoor, the outdoor area. Ma'am, could you please move on to the next slide?
Yeah.
This is the outdoor appearance of my school. Here I have a play station. You can see I have a caterpillar tunnel. We have ride-ons, the toys, the standing boards, alphabet board in the shape of a tree. All these things are the important aspects where the child gets attracted to learning process. Also in my school, I basically believe in three things: learning by doing, experiential learning, it's also called as playway method of learning, and also I believe in Indian system of education. If you are not aware of those things, Indian system of education basically includes doing by self. Leave your child free play activity, associative activity, etc. Whatever the child wants to play, he has to get that environment. He has to get that space. He has to get those materials in order to spark his potential. This is the outdoor, where this is only the front outdoor appearance of my school. I have again all the 3 sides. Totally my building square feet area is like 2,400 square feet. Next would be like the classroom appearance. Here I have the franchisee which I chose for. They offered me like 2 sets of equipments, wooden furnitures as well as the plastic materials, plastic furnitures. I went with the wooden furnitures. Why wooden furnitures? These are eco-friendly, child-friendly, one thing, and they are very attractive. Basic thing I focused was like the attraction. The attraction, because these age group children, they never sit in one place for more than 3 or 5 minutes. I want the children to sit in one place for at least 10 minutes. So these are the materials which make the children sit in the classroom. This is how I thought and worked for the same plan. You can see various equipments available there, like peg boards, your activities, your abacus slates, your tangram. All these cater to the fine motor development aspects, eye-hand coordination aspects, yes, the color concepts, whatever you intend to give it in terms of learning. This is one classroom, and this is another classroom for me. You can see the same things. The table is of different shape. The table is very colorful. We have different pegboards related to various aspects like the symbols, vegetables, alphabets, numbers, days of the week, months in the year, shapes, etc. All these things. This is the common area. Common area, here we have birthday celebrations, we have Teachers' Day, national festival celebrations, etc. All these celebrations are conducted indoors in this common classroom when it's a rainy season. Otherwise, it will be in the outdoor area. In the previous slide, you saw the outdoor area. There we celebrate it in the outdoors. All the festivals, all the day celebrations, all the birthday celebrations are celebrated outside when it's not raining. Yes? Any other questions? I hope I'm clear. Either I'm clear or I have not clarified anything, because I'm not getting the total number of questions that I expected. I expected more questions.
Yes.
So how can
Girls, please, if you have questions, please ask. You can also use the chat box to put up your questions.
ma'am,
That is
so how can we bring change
also
in the
fine.
mind, like the parents?
Parents.
Ma'am, so like, yes, ma'am. So like there will be different approaches. So like some people, like some parents might want some kind of a method. Maybe they would like feel that their child is like, some might have a little difficulty in mathematics. Some might have difficulty in like language, like pronunciations and all of that. So how would we try to bring a change in that? Like how would we focus on that, and how would we change that for the particular parents, ma'am?
Okay. Once you get an inquiry is nothing but when a parent comes to take a look in your school, want to know what is it that you're offering apart from the common schools. Yes. First question that I get by the parents is, will you reduce the fee structure? This is the first question I'm getting. Every parent, however educated the parent might be, whatever the needs of the child might be, whatever you are offering. Yes. Besides all these things, the first question I am getting will be like, will you reduce the fee structure for me? For this, I don't say no, I don't say yes. Neither I say yes, neither I say no. But in fact, I move on to explaining, I just give them a tour of the school. Show them the rooms, show them the themes, show them the activities that we are planning, show them the materials that we have, everything. And after that, you check with the child's development, like Does the child know how to read and write? Does the child identify the alphabets? Does the child know? And if you are just good enough in the rapport building, then you can directly ask, like, what is the difficulty with the child, if there are any. If the parent is saying that, yes, my child reads very well, but he's not writing, for example, for writing practice, here you need to use your early childhood education basics. There is something called as like pre-writing skills. Yes, nowadays every parent wants their child to have lot of homeworks. Yes, but according to pre-writing skills, the child should be ready to read and write on its own based on their development and the potential. So these are the points where you tell the parents that if your child is not writing, he has to be ready. He should first learn to hold a pencil. He should get a grip of holding a pencil. It is also called as pincer grip. Yes, I hope you all are aware of that, pincer grip. If you say all these scientific terms with proper explanation, then you are sure of converting that particular inquiry into the admission without any doubts. And one more thing is, don't hide any information. Don't hide any knowledge that you are having regarding the child's development and learning process. Here, when you share that information, the parents feel that, yes, my child will be taken care of here properly. Then you are sure of landing one admission. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there are some questions in the chat box. So Zena is asking, good morning, ma'am. I would like to know what is the student to teacher ratio in your school?
In my school, it is 15:1, not more than 15. Why actually standard for playgroup and nursery, it is 10:1 internationally. But in India, they maintain 20 or 25:1 without any associate teacher. But in my school, I am 15:1 because I believe in I want my teachers to give 5 to 10 minutes of personal one-to-one time for each child, which will not happen if the teacher-student ratio is more. In my school, it is 15.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, there are some more questions.
Yeah, the support staff.
So
Yes.
Rida is asking, good morning, ma'am. Yeah, what are some of the challenges that you have faced?
Challenges in recruiting the teachers. This is my until now, it is my most biggest challenge to recruit a teacher. Because if I wasn't in the field of child development, I would have taken any NTC trained teacher, any B.Ed or D.Ed or any like teaching faculty is normally recruited. But since I'm from this field, I expect more from these teachers. One is a fluency in English language that is required, and the ability of the teacher to deliver the same content in minimum of 3 languages: English, Kannada, and Hindi. Kannada is the vernacular language. So I want my teachers to deliver the content in all the 3 languages. And it is very difficult to get the teaching faculty from the same field. So what I decided was, the basic criteria for my teachers is they should be graduates with good fluency in English. And when I started recruiting for the teachers, I did not find any of the teachers who were trained in early childhood education. It was simply like they thought that you have to teach the children alphabets, numbers, Kannada alphabets or Hindi alphabets or whatever it is. They never knew that there are different ways of teaching. There are different ways of giving learning experiences for the children. So now what I do is, I recruit teachers who are graduates, who have taught in earlier schools, and I give them 1 month hands-on training. This is my criteria. And that training is the most challenging part for me, because they do not know any basics of child development, and I have to give them every input on each and everything. I have to give inputs, and then I have to look for their learning outcome also. It's a little bit tedious work for me, but again, I want quality in my school, so I stick on to that.
All right, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there's one more question where they're asking about the support staff and the student ratio.
Student ratio, I think I've covered 15:1, 15 students to 1 teacher. Support staff is like in every class. Nowadays, they see to it that every class has one caretaker. Yes, but it is difficult to find trustworthy caretakers here. So I am going with one caretaker for all the children. Currently, I am having 24 children. For 24 children, I am having one caretaker. And that caretaker has to be compassionate, has to be tolerant, has to be patient, everything that a mother needs to be. Because next to teacher, caretaker is the person for whom the children get more attached rather than the teacher. There was one more question.
Yeah. So Anna is saying, ma'am, is there a provision for children with special needs? Are they also included in your preschool?
No, ma'am. No special needs children are included here. Because for special needs children, we need specially trained special educator, where it is difficult to find in this region.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. One more girl, one
Yes, girls, were you able to join?
Yeah, I'm here, ma'am.
Just 1 second, ma'am. There's some problem with my connectivity. Yes, girls, anyone who wants to verbally one-on-one talk to ma'am and ask some questions, please go ahead.
Ma'am, you have a preschool
Recording
also.
in progress.
So, ma'am, there are many parents who basically are very worried about their future, like the child's future, in the sense they want their child to be admitted in a good school. So does your school provide a good interview thing, as in, preparing the child with the full interview so that they can crack that and enter a good school? Like,
yes, I got it. See, in preschool education, early childhood education, there is no such fixed curriculum. Like you can see, there are state board educations, CBSE systems, ICSE systems, right? But one thing you need to keep in mind is your child, the child who studies in your early childhood education center, has to be ready for all the 3 boards, either state or central or ICSE syllabus. How you can do that? You can make the child see reading and writing. Children can learn it anytime, but the basic things of the developmental aspects, maybe social, maybe emotional, maybe physical, language skills, speech and language, everything, all these aspects have to be catered to. In my school, what I concentrate more is the right time for the child to learn to read and write. We also call it as readiness of the child to read and write. Once the child is ready to read and write, You can give any experience for the child and prepare the child for the formal education. In my school, children are prepared for the formal education in all the 3 languages: English, Kannada, and Hindi. Hope I covered your question or answered your question well.
Yes, Athiya, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yes, girls. Any questions?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ma'am, you mentioned about the classrooms and the outdoor settings. Is there any particular design for the settings, like arrangement, that rooms and the window and the size of the rooms?
Yes, of course. If you go on with the preschool models, or which you are in your curriculum covers these aspects, right? Like the building size, the traffic movement or traffic flow that has to be kept in mind while planning the activities and all those things. All these are the basic things that you need to keep in mind before planning for the indoors and outdoors as well. Only thing is you need to organize the things in a particular manner. It's up to you. You are the owner, you are the proprietor, so it's the control is in your hands. What you want to give the painting, what is your intention of giving a particular type of infrastructure, it's up to you. Total control is yours. What you give, what you intend to give has to be delivered in the same manner. That is more important.
Ma'am, in that only, what are the things you kept in mind before designing or including the things?
Before starting this ECE Center, I have visited more than 15 or 20 preschool centers, where I observed that all the walls were covered with cartoon characters, which I hated those cartoon characters, because at home what happens is children stick on to the TV with the cartoon channels. Yes. What they learn is they imitate all the cartoon characters. The language might be their language, might be their body language, might be the usage of vocabulary. Everything is copied and imitated by the children for those cartoon characters. Because you can see in the slides, there are hardly any cartoon characters except for Motu Patlu. And that was also because, there was some, the painter, he was a preschool painter. He did not like that I was not going with the cartoon characters, especially. So because to keep his, I just allowed him to give one cartoon character. This was my idea, because at home they are always with the cartoons only. There is learning as such is nothing happening except for language. If one cartoon character is coming in Hindi language, the child gets acquainted with the Hindi language very easily. So that is available at home. I'm not giving whatever is available at home. I don't want to give the same thing at school. So I planned for different thematic paintings. That is it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for mentioning it.
Welcome.
Ma'am,
yes,
I would like to ask you the question that in the pandemic times, like, how have you seen to it that you transition smoothly with respect to online teaching more for the parents, for the teachers, and the students as well?
Okay. During the pandemic, I conducted online classes for only the LKG and UKG children, not for the nursery and playgroup, because basically I'm not for the technology usage for the children of that age. LKG and UKG, it was like the same online students. Now they are regular since after this pandemic. Now they are regular. Their learning outcome, what is it like? Orally, they are very perfect. They can say each and every word that has been taught to them. But when it comes to writing and reading part, they have not learned anything in the online mode of classes for that age group children. So what happens is like after getting back to school after this pandemic, I have to again restart their reading and writing part. So I have started that, and there were some financial concerns during the lockdown period, which I had to consider. So I went for the personal loans and all those things. It has to be done. If you're firm enough, if you're determined enough, then you will have to find the source.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Pandemic also, I did not employ any teachers. I was the only teacher who catered to all the children's needs, learning aspects, providing materials, everything. But the thing is, children or either the parents, you can see, they never up with the activity levels. They were only interested in making the children sit and write at home during pandemic. They only want their children to learn how to write. This is the main thing. After pandemic, when children came back to school, earlier children used to cry if we made them sit inside the classroom. Before, now see, we required minimum of 3 to 4 months to make the child to sit inside the classroom before pandemic. But after pandemic, what I observed, when we made the children to go into outdoor play, they started crying. Literally, they started crying. A majority of the children, I have 24 children. Among 24 children, 15 of them were not comfortable playing outside. This was the result of pandemic because they are acquainted, they're habituated indoors. They want to feel comfortable. So outdoors, their physical potential is not explored. This is the pandemic. But again, I have taken 2 months now. Now it's settled.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, do you think like, yeah,
ma'am,
it is definitely affected the social bonding, the socialization process for children, and that is the main purpose why we suggest preschool setup is they learn something that is beyond their home environment also. So yes, I've also personally seen my cousins in the family have not gone to school. So they are just crying. They just want to have that experience of going to schools. So that is there.
Yes.
Also, ma'am, like with respect to connecting, like having or keeping the parents in the loop, like do you consider having parent meetings or anything of that sort?
Yes, of course. I do have parent-teacher meetings. The schedule is like alternate months, I will be having parent-teacher meetings, and alternate month, I will be conducting parents workshops for the parents. Workshops will be including like the child's developmental aspects, some common parenting styles, learning styles, these things, which I believe other schools do not offer.
Yeah. Also, ma'am, like recently we were talking about communication in the classroom with the students, also the parents. So there might be times where the educator is in a spot where you have to talk about some sensitive things to the parents or the child's development or something where you feel that the parents are going wrong. So how do you try to communicate on these topics?
Yeah, I have such cases, and I have seen and catered to such cases also, especially when it comes to the younger children and the parents' relationship. This is the most sensitive issue that the children observe.
Correct.
Here, what I do is I just call the parents, just have one-to-one talk with them. I do not like openly say that this is like this, your child is behaving in such a manner, so you have to control or you have to. No, I never say those things. What I say is I only concentrate on the child's understanding, observation, and learning. What I say to the parents is like, what your child sees, he does it. Only one sentence. child sees, he does it, observes, and he understands. This is enough for the parents to understand, because they have been called on a talk with the proprietor of the school, and what the proprietor says is, what your child sees is what he does at school. This is enough, and this is catered to sensibly, I believe. If this issue is not resolved in 1 month or 2 months, then I'll have to call them again, and I have to just, like, split the issues. This is what is happening. This is how your child is responding to particular aspects, all these things. And I also say to the parents that whatever you talk at home, the child comes and says it exactly the same sentences the children use at home. So I tell the parent to be sober, to be compassionate, to understand the child's potential as well as his level of understanding.
Yeah.
All these things are to in the orientation programs. Orientation program is the first program which I conduct before the parent-teacher meetings. In the orientation program, I just give them these brief talks.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
I have one issue of this sort, and it was resolved easily also. No worries.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Anybody else who wants to ask any question?
I think I got one more question here in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am. So Rida is asking, ma'am, can you please elaborate on how would a typical working day look like in your preschool, especially after the pandemic?
After the pandemic, nothing is planned for sure. After pandemic, my school starts at 10:30. 10:30, we begin with the assembly. In assembly, we go on with one of our traditional systems, that is shloka. Next would be like a prayer in English. One more would be like a national anthem. This is my routine. One shloka, one prayer, and one national anthem. These three things. After that, we go on to the basic things like what is today, which season is now, currently what is the season now, what would be tomorrow. Yes, yesterday was I believe Thursday, today is Friday, so tomorrow will be Saturday. So this will be like the child will be understanding days in a week concept every day. What is the day, what is the date, what is the year. Yes, all these things. After that, we go on to warm-up exercises. After warm-up exercises, we ask the children whether anybody is thirsty or somebody wants to use a washroom. After this, we settle into the classes. In the common classroom, what we do is we basically plan for alphabets, phonetic songs, Kannada alphabet song, Hindi alphabet song, and numbers. 4 things are mandatory because the child has to understand the phonetics before learning to read. After these 4 things, children are divided into their respective classes. Nursery children go to their classroom, LKG go to their classroom, and UKG go to their respective classrooms. In the classrooms, all the 4 subjects are catered to, it's been divided. 15 minutes for one subject each. 15 minutes for English, 15 minutes for Kannada, Hindi, mathematics, EVS concepts. My school closes at 1:45 p.m. Before 1:45 p.m., I close the learning sessions at 1:30. Last 15 minutes is given for singing, dancing, other fun activities which the children want to do. And I also give them public speaking skills with a mic in hand. We teach them introduction, introducing oneself. Nursery children and children, they need to only introduce with their names. LKG and UKG children, they need to introduce themselves, their name, their parents' name, the class in which they study, the school in which they study, and also their home address, LKG and UKG, in a mic in front of all the children and staff. This is how we prepare them for the public speaking skills.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, girls, any more questions?
Ma'am, what is the process of
Ma'am,
admitting
like, do
the
you
children in your school? Like, is there any
Admissions,
interview?
for the student or the teacher?
No, ma'am, for the students.
Okay, interview as such is, I don't conduct any interviews. The first one to shortlist for any section would be like the age classification. I'll go with the chronological age. Yes, the first chronological age would be 2.5 years for playgroup admission. Playgroup admission 2.5 years, nursery admission 3 years, and henceforth 1 year after that. But if the parent has not sent the child to any school and has come to you seeking admission for LKG, at such a situation, I would like to ask the parents whether they have taught anything to read and write at home. In such time, I just check with the child whether the child is able to recite alphabets or numbers, whichever language they have taught, whatever it is, English, Hindi, Kannada, whatever it is, ABCD, Swaragalu, whatever it is. If the child is able to recite these things learned at home, then I will stick on to the age criteria. Like, for example, if the child has completed 3 years and 10 months, even though he has not gone to any nursery or playgroup, I will take his admission directly to LKG. But the child has not received any kind of learning environment, then even though the child is able to have or is capable of eligible to get into LKG, I'll take him into nursery class, because he has to first learn to how to hold a pencil, how to write, and he has to gain the control over his writing movements. Only after that, I will be considering him for LKG admission. There are many children who have taken admission to LKG, but after that, because the parents insist, no, I want my child, since his age is proper to go for an LKG, so I want him to take an admission into LKG. This is how parents insist. Because they have insisted, I have taken the admission to LKG. But after that, after I provide the material, after I conduct the activities, parents themselves find difficult with the child, because the child is not able to understand the concepts. The child is not able to hold a pencil and complete the activities compared to his classmates. Here what happens is the child's development, the child's self-esteem, his confidence levels, they directly fall down, which I don't want to happen with the child. So I have given switch for LKG children to nursery. 3 or 4 students have switched LKG children to nursery sections. This is how it happens. Overall, nothing but you have to be flexible. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, Shrishti, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, ma'am. So I want to
Yeah.
ask ma'am, like, whether like she has got a lot of rooms, which there is themes. So like, as we could see in the previous slides, like she said environment and all of that. So is it like she does it for a day particularly, or is it like it's there as like every day in the curriculum? Or there's like particular day for environment science and a particular day for like the animals that we could see. So how does she implement that in her curriculum?
Okay, all these themes are included in the curriculum. We have worksheets, we have activity sheets which are planned according to the curriculums. Maybe animals, maybe vegetables, maybe shapes, anything, any concept you consider, everything is included in the curriculum. What I have planned is every Monday, 15 days, every fortnight on every Monday, we will be giving out EVS activities. Yes. And on Fridays, every fortnight on Fridays, we will be celebrating Colors Day. We are planning 2 things. Mondays, for every 15 days, we will be having EVS concepts. Every 15 days on Fridays, we will be having color day celebrations. Everything is covered in these aspects. For EVS activities, it's like sometimes we prepare the props and we prepare the teaching learning materials. And to some things, we make the parents sit with the children and prepare the teaching learning materials, which we exhibit. And we also say that let the children prepare for one line of speech or introduce whatever he is presenting, his teaching learning material.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so in that case, like, is a shadow teacher preferred in your school if some children is having like lacking with like reading, writing, and understanding? So is shadow teacher?
Yeah, shadow teacher is like, I only cater to such things because there are writing patterns where, like, for example, I have two children who write S in a mirror image and P in a mirror image, 9 in a mirror image. Yes, and their writing patterns are also totally different. They reverse and write these alphabets or whatever it is. So being a child development specialist, I cater to such children. After schools, you can say, or if the child is not available after school, I let out some guidelines for the parents on how to make the child understand and make it right in a proper manner. I cater to such things.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, girls, any other questions?
Yes, any questions apart from this?
I think they're running out of questions. Is there anyone? Yes, Rohini?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, like, since you've started your own ECCE Centre, won't you be looking into the competition and how it would, how did you deal with that, ma'am? Like, since there will be many other ECCE centers as well.
Yes, of course. How I stand out of the group of preschool systems is what I thought initially. See, there are bigger brands than I'm sticking on to. There are more bigger brands which are giving more facilities in terms of app learning, in terms of online education, in terms of giving out the, like freebies or whatever you can say. I do not give any such things. I only give quality learning to the children, which will help build their personality, one aspect. And if there are any behavior deviations in the child, any behavior deviations, any relationship deviations while social development or emotional development that happens with the child, I am catering to such things, the basic things which are very much needed in today's world. I am offering these services. I am not getting into the competition aspect because what happens is, if I look into the competition aspect, if I say that no, that school is giving much more quantity, another school is giving much more quality. No, I believe in what I give. I believe in my quality. I believe in my service that I'm giving. Regardless of what income I'm getting, I believe in the quality that I provide. I'm not comparing my school with any other schools. In fact, what I say is, when the parents ask me that, will you reduce the fee structure for me? I say them, go inquire n number of schools, whichever schools you want to inquire, go and inquire. If you do not feel satisfactory, then don't come here for admissions. I directly say this sentence. I don't say that, no, you go and see, my school will be better, my school is the best. No, I'm not saying that thing. Parents should say that my school is best. In fact, I feel proud that when I started the school, I had 4 preschools in nearby vicinity, only in half kilometers. Yes, all of them have closed. Only my school is prevailing. So this shows that I have created some quality, some change in the mindset of parents, considering the learning aspect of the children.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Also, ma'am, with respect to the marketing of the schools, like does social media come into play somehow, or it is only through word of mouth?
I believe in word of mouth, because since
Yeah.
I'm in a mega, I'm in a mega city, so here I don't have too many parents who are active on social media.
Correct. Okay.
So I have worked basically on word of mouth, goodwill.
Okay.
If you have goodwill, you will get admissions. No worries.
Yes.
But in a city
And
like
most
Bangalore, social media marketing is a must.
must.
That's
Okay.
much needed.
Yeah.
Yes, it does help.
Yes.
And also here I would like to say, add one more thing. Apart from sticking on to this early childhood education center, if the proprietor is a trained counselor, if he or she is trained in any vocational skills, like now I am a certified DMIT consultant, parenting coach, all these things will help you in getting more admissions.
Yes.
Because you can see most of the proprietors of other schools, they are either lawyers, either they are engineers,
Correct.
doctor, nowhere related to this field. So you have the upper hand when you are trained in these specific aspects, when you are looking to being a early childhood education entrepreneur.
Yes, ma'am. Also, ma'am, since like I am their teacher, so I think I would want to ask you if you also offer internship programs for students.
Yes, I offer, because earlier I used to work in Agriculture University as an assistant professor for the same human development subject. There we have elective students. They come here for internships of 1 month, 2 months, or whatever it is. I offer internships. Yeah.
All right.
And free of, no worries.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Yes, girls, any other questions? Anything that maybe you didn't understand?
Ma'am, actually, I have one more question, but
Yes,
I
go
feel
on.
like it's a very cliche question, but I just want to ask you, ma'am.
Yes, yes, go on.
Ma'am, I wanted to know, like, what motivated you, like, to become an entrepreneur, to start your own center, since you were teaching, like, what is that turning point, ma'am, for you?
You want to know the truth?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Truth was, like, I was not getting a proper learning experiences for my daughter. Being a child developmental specialist, my daughter is not getting that quality of education that is required during the early learning years. Until now, she is in 3rd standard. I have changed 5 schools for my daughter. Either the curriculum is too heavy, either the teachers are very non-responsive. None of the teachers know the child one-to-one. This was the main primary point of view. And after that, the employment issue for myself. See, having a doctoral degree in home science, that is basically child development, there are no government call forms that are coming up. Also, there are employment issues with other sectors also. We do not fit in with other categories of employments. Either you can go into clerical thing, or you have to go into a entrepreneurship. This was the second point. So I went with this field. Here I get I get to do what I want to do. And here I'm like totally free of stress. I enjoy doing this work. So basically, I want to do what I enjoy. And also, one more thing is like the children who come into my school, they do not have to experience what my daughter faced. That is my key point. I see to it that every child is understood and taken care of at a personal level. It is difficult, it is tedious, but I keep on pestering my teachers. That's it.
Ma'am, that's really nice to know, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, girls, any other questions?
Ma'am, here I would like to add one more point.
Yes, ma'am.
Since all of these girls are undergraduates or postgraduates, right?
Yeah, postgraduates.
Entrepreneurship in terms, they might be looking for a lucrative salary, lucrative income generation at this point.
Yeah.
Here I would like to make it clear that first 3 years you will have to go without salary. That is for sure, because you are the entrepreneur here. You won't be getting any salary. You have to generate income. Yes, you have to plan for proper calculated expenses, and then you have to keep your profit section. Lucrative as such, initially you will not be getting. They have to be ready. They should prepare themselves for this situation. After that, they will be able to get returns on their investments, lucrative investments.
Yes, ma'am, correct. All right, girls, any other questions that we can take up quickly? I think there are no questions in the chat box also, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes? No questions?
All are cleared for now.
Clear or not clear? Either of the two.
Clear, ma'am. It's all clear.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Okay. Okay, girls. So since there are no more questions, so we'll wind the webinar for today. I'll invite Athiya to please propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone present here. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of my college and the entire management here, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our speaker guest, Dr.Arati S. Jakkarradi, for accepting our invitation and sparing some time from her busy schedule to grace the occasion. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your preschool experience and graceful words with us in today's virtual meet. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will surely be going to encourage us in our future events. Your preschool education and curriculum have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. We have been fortunate to have you today with us as a guest speaker, which helped us increase our limited knowledge in this field. I would like to extend my deepest sense of appreciation to our principal, Dr. S. Aparna, who provided us with such a great opportunity, and without her support, this meet would not have been possible. I would like to thank our head of the department, Dr. Sujata Gupta Kedar, for always supporting and guiding us in every way possible. Sincere thanks to our subject teacher, Mrs. Shreya and Ms. Tamima, who handled the event throughout and helped us in every way possible to make this virtual meet a grand success. Finally, I would like to thank all of you present here for making the time to be with us today and being such a lovely audience, thereby helping us to make this event a great success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Atya, for the wonderful words. Actually, I'm grateful and I'm really thankful for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences. I especially thank Sujata ma'am and Shreya ma'am for coordinating such things. And also, really, Shreya ma'am, I thank you because for organizing the platform, actually. It was nice being with you people.
Yes,
For
ma'am. It was surely such an informative session for all the students as well. And the way you have explained it, you have, toned it down so that everybody understands how it is in the job, the market, and what they can expect from entrepreneurship, especially in terms with education and human development. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being there and sharing your experiences. And we will look forward for further future endeavors also.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you. It was nice. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Same here, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Good day.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good day. Bye, girls.
Thank you, girls. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Recording stopped.